I'm Jay Horton. I make movies that make money. This is how. How do you become an independent film director? I could probably just make this a really short video and just tell you, just get out there and direct films. Okay, so that was a little reductive. Let's try it again. What are some of the paths a person might go down to become an independent film director? Here's 5 common ways. Go to film school. Well, the most traditional approach used to be to go to film school. Learn the craft, do some networking, and then maybe transition into the Hollywood system. I mean, I did technically go to film school. Well, it was a regular 4-year college that had a film program. My major was actually communications. And honestly, as far as the networking goes, it's almost 20 years later, and I'm working with pretty much no one from college. Though to be fair, my college, the University of New Orleans, it's not exactly USC or NYU when it comes to film schools. And while there are plenty of more direct paths, film school can still be a legit way into the Hollywood system. Now for me, it didn't really lead to much, but if your goal is to make larger budget, studio level things, this can still be a good option. If you can actually afford it and if you go to the right school. In my opinion, if it's not one of the top 10 film schools, there's not much good networking to be done. And honestly, as far as learning the craft, if you dedicate yourself to it, you can learn more off of YouTube than you will in most schools. Have a rich relative that pays your way. Laugh if you will, but this is probably the most common way people get into directing. For real. Either a relative, a friend, or a combination of the two finances either your movie itself or your starving artist lifestyle for the time period that it takes to work your way up into the business. Even for non-wealthy people, this is common. Look, I don't come from money or have any connections. I was raised in a small trailer park in Indiana. But after college, I was able to network and convince different groups of acquaintances and people I've worked with to invest in movies. And even prior to that, I'd be lying if I said my broke-ass mom didn't send me money from time to time throughout my 20s when things were tough. Then there's trade schools. I used to kind of scoff at these, but over the last couple of decades or so, schools like Full Sail in Florida have churned out a lot of working filmmakers, and some, like Stephen C. Miller for example, have really flourished. I will say this about trade and film schools though, I think you'll learn more about the business and filmmaking in general by just getting out there and making movies. But they are still viable options. And this brings us to YouTube U. YouTube has become an incredible educational tool. Over the past few years, I think I've learned more specific filmmaking skills and more about the business of filmmaking than I did in all 4 years of regular school. And look, I'm not bashing film school here. I'm just saying that everything you need to know to be a filmmaker is on YouTube. You just have to dig and be able to recognize bullshit when you see it. Hopefully not my channel. And that brings us to the #1 way to become a film director. I said it at the top. Get out there and make movies. Features, shorts, vlogs, whatever. Got no money for a camera? Use your phone. Don't have a phone? Find a friend with one. You'll learn more by just getting out there and trying than by doing all the research in the world. Experience is key. I'm not saying research and knowledge are worthless, but their value pales in comparison to experience. So if you want to be a director, my main piece of advice is to get out there and just do it. Start making movies.